Okay, Scott, you are host and we are live on Get Setup. You can make me
Okay,
co-host. Just
sounds
to
great.
confirm that how many people have booked for the class?
I believe we have about 13.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think everything
13.
is secure now just because of the lobby feature.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, thank you.
Good.
How about yourself?
Pretty good. A little hoarse, but
Too many
enough.
classes?
No, I actually was at a wedding over the
Oh.
weekend and talked a lot. So I guess I talked a little too much. So
Understandable,
yeah.
especially since it's been so long since we've had weddings.
Yeah, this was strange. This was my niece's wedding, and it was the first big gathering I've been to where nobody was wearing a mask. So
How many people?
I think they had about 150.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
What state?
But
What state? What state?
this was in Ohio,
Okay,
and everybody was vaccinated that came to the wedding, so that made it a little safer.
good. Good to hear.
Yeah, yeah. I think they've lifted their mask mandates there. We still don't have it. We still have to wear masks when we go to stores and things like that here. But
Yeah, we have stores still with mask mandates in Michigan.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, I'll give it another couple minutes for people to get in. Just to let everybody know too, my colleague Victor is here and can help you out with any issues you might be having with Zoom or any other technical problems. And he'll also be helping me monitor any questions that come into our chat. And is anybody brand new to Get Set Up? Anybody taking a class with us for the first time? Everybody's an upperclassman?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'm an addict.
Okay. Okay. Well, sounds good. Looks like we've got just about everybody here. I'm going to go ahead and get us started. There might be a couple of people popping in yet, but I'll do some introductory remarks so they won't miss a whole lot. Just out of curiosity, is anybody a current Google Photos user, or is everybody kind of new to this? Okay.
Oh, I am. I use Google Photos.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. Well, I'll be walking through a little bit about how to set up an account and manage it and choose your storage plan and everything like that. So I'll go ahead and get us started. Okay. All right. Great. So welcome to the first of 2 classes we have on Google Photos. We've set this up as a series. There's a Google Photos Part 2 that walks you through all the different things you can do once you've set up your Google Photos backup plan.
Mhm.
And first of all, just a little bit about me. I live in Silver Spring, Maryland, and that is in the Washington, D.C. area. And I am a retired journalist. And in my previous job, I was a communications director. And so I led a lot of website development and social media outreach and did a lot of work with Google apps of different sorts. And I'm also an avid photographer, and I do use Google Photos to back up and manage a lot of the photos I take on my iPhone.
Mhm.
And I love being here on Get Set Up. I love the interactive learning that we enable, and I love the community building mission we have. And so it's really a privilege to be here. We learn from each other. We're here to help you learn some useful skills from people like you. All of our guides are older adults as well, so we face some of the same learning curves. Ideally, we can see everybody on camera. If you're comfortable with that, it just helps us really build a social community as well as a learning community. If you would like to request a recording after the class, you can get that by simply emailing us. Want to make sure that recording's on. Emailing us at help@getsetup.io. We record all our classes for quality control purposes, but we also make those available to you on demand. So let us know if you'd like one for any kind of review you want to do. If you are joining us by live stream, welcome. Glad you're following along. Best way to participate in a class is to register for it, and then you can join us in real time and ask questions of the guide and interact with the other learners. I also want to emphasize that Get Set Up is not paid to promote any specific product, so this is not meant to be an endorsement or advertisement for Google or any of its products, simply informational for you. So what we'll talk about today is how to set up a Google Photos account if you do not have one, and also how to select the type of storage plan that you want for your photo collection. And we'll also talk about how you can access your account on any internet connected device. And if there is anything else that you are hoping to learn today about Google Photos, you can drop me a message in the chat and I'll be sure to address that when I break for questions. If you do expect any kind of background noise at your location, you might want to keep yourself on mute until we do break for questions, and then you can unmute and ask whatever you want. And we will stop at just setting up the account and understanding how the storage works. And then our second class, Google Photos Part 2, which I believe is tomorrow, we talk about all the different ways that Google sorts and organizes your photos for you, and also how you can set up your own customized albums and share photos. So to start out with, in understanding how Google Photos works, I think it would be a good idea to talk about cloud storage in general, and how that works. So when we're talking about the cloud, if you're not familiar with that term, the concept of the cloud has been around for probably about 10 to 15 years, but it's kind of nebulous, no pun intended, but the cloud essentially is the internet. And so when we're talking about cloud storage, we're basically talking about putting your content, your files, any data that you want to store in a digital warehouse in the sky. And you can set this up to happen automatically if you'd like. You have the key to that warehouse in the form of your username and password on any of these cloud storage services that you use. If you've ever heard of Dropbox or OneDrive that Microsoft has, all of those are cloud storage services. So again, you're putting your digital data on the internet for safekeeping, and usually what it allows you to do is to access that data on any device that you happen to be using. So it basically is able to interact with your computer. It syncs with your computer. It also syncs it with your smartphone or your tablet if you have an app downloaded to do that. So Google Photos is one of many cloud apps and services that Google provides. And if you'll notice here, this is where you can see you can have your Gmail stored on the Google Cloud. Google Drive is another service that allows you to store documents, back up and store documents on Google's internet or cloud services. You can store your calendar data if you want, Gmail, anything that you want backed up, so that if you lose your computer or you break your computer or you lose your phone, anything that you've backed up is there for you to access once you get a new device to connect to the internet. Google Photos is just one of them, and the icon looks like this. So when you download the app on your phone, that's what you're going to see.
I have a question.
Sure.
When you talk about the backup, will it back up automatically, or is that something we actually have to do?
You can set it up to back up automatically, yeah. And I'm going to show you exactly in a few minutes. I'm going to share my phone screen and I'll show you how to set that up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So speaking of which, what Google Photos does is, yes, it allows you to both securely and, if you want, automatically store copies of your photos online as backup. You can essentially set it up so that when you snap a picture on your smartphone, it will end up getting backed up to the Google Photos account that you've set up. So once you do that, you'll need to download the Google Photos mobile app to your smartphone. If you want to access it on your tablet, you'll want to do it there as well. And then you can set things up to automatically back up those photos so that you can see them on all your devices or the devices of your choosing. And before I walk you through how to set all that up, just to let you understand what you're looking at in terms of cost. Unfortunately, nothing is free out there in the cloud, although Google does provide you with a pretty ample amount of free storage space before it caps that and you have to start paying. So Google will offer you 15 gigabytes of free storage space. Now that applies to anything you are backing up in the Google Cloud, whether that's photos or anything on the Google Drive, if you're backing up your calendar data, if you're using Google Calendars or your Gmail, all of that would apply to that 15 gigabytes. Photos and video do tend to take up the bulk of that room. They just are the most data hungry things that you're going to be putting up into the cloud. So if you were storing nothing else or very little other than photos and video, well, let's just say photos in your Google Photos account, 15 gigabytes is probably going to give you room for about 5,000 pictures, give or take, depending on the size of those pictures. And I'll talk a little bit more about size of those digital photo files in a few minutes. Once you hit that 15 gigabyte limit, Google will let you know that you're out of storage space and you can buy additional storage space for $20 a year, that gives you 100 gigabytes, and that's going to store for you as many as 30 to 35,000 photos. So much more room. So if you think about it in square footage, you'd be getting a small storage space for, say, a small storage garage for free. And if you needed a bigger space, you could rent it for $20 a year and get substantially more. You can even double that for $40 a year and get 200 gigabytes of free storage space. And that can give you room for up to 60 to 65,000 photos. Video, depending on the length of the videos, that will take up even more space. I tend to, until recently, was not taking a lot of video, but I've started to do a little bit more, and it will take up a substantial amount of space. And for $120 a year, you're essentially renting a digital warehouse, 2 terabytes. That can store up to 500,000 photos. So if you really need that kind of space, again, we're talking about not only your photos and video, but also any documents that you might be backing up or old emails, anything like that would apply to that. So, yeah, go ahead, Regina.
With the Google video, are you limited on how long the video is, or?
No.
Oh.
You're not limited on the length of it until you hit that
Oh, okay.
ceiling on the plan that you're paying for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
So once you sign up for a Google account, which is very easy to do, you can just go to Google. If you've got a Gmail account, if you're using Gmail for your email, you've got a Google account. And if you don't, you do not have to have Gmail in order to do that. You can go to google.com and it will you can go up to the right corner and open up an account. You can use any other email for your registration that you want. If you want to use your Yahoo email account, if you have that, or Outlook, anything like that. But once you set that up, you have access to all of Google's storage, all of their cloud apps and services. Once you do that, you simply need to download the Google Photos mobile app to your smart device if you want to back up anything you take on your smartphone or your tablet. And then you'll walk through backing up and sync it. You'll basically be working on your settings to back up and sync on the app, especially if you want it to automatically back up your photos. So let me walk you through what that's going to look like. I'm going to open up my phone screen here. Okay, here we go. Okay, is everybody able to see that, my phone screen? If not, let me know. But when I go to open up my Google Photos app, the first time you download it, and it is free to download, whether you're using the Apple App Store, if you have an iPhone or an iPad, or if you are on an Android device and you're using the Google Play Store to buy apps or to even access apps. But this is free to download and use. It's going to look like this. And when I open it up, you'll see here, I can see my account. I have my backup currently off. I can turn it on at any time, but these are all the photos that are sitting right now on my account. And to go to backup, I simply want to go up here to go to my settings, which is what I'm going to want to do. You'll see up here in the corner, I have this little circle here. That is my initial. And if I press my thumb on that, it opens up, and this is how I get into my account. So I'll go down to Google Photos settings. And right up here, it says backup and sync. I want to go over here. And I want to turn this on. And once I do that, as long as I have this open on my phone, it's going to start backing up all the photos that I have sitting on here that it hasn't already backed up. So you'll see here, if you notice, it's now got this little activity manifesting here in the side. That means it's going through my photo library and backing up anything that it sees as new. Anything that is already backed up in my account, it will not back up again. So you don't have to worry about duplicates. But anything that I have taken, say in the last, I think the last time I opened this app was probably about 2 hours ago. So anything I would have taken between that time and now would be getting backed up right now. And if you don't want that automatic backup, say you just want to selectively decide what you want to back up, you can turn backup and sync off. And any photo that isn't backed up that you would like to back up, you can do on an individual basis. So I could click on this photo. And down here in the corner, you'll see this little sort of universal upload icon. You'll see this on just about any app. And I will click on that and I can upload that to I can share it or I can just upload it to my account. And if I want, I can just add it to an individual album. And I talk a lot more about albums in the Google Photos part too. Easiest thing to do is to just set it to automatically back up. And that way you can be sure that anything you take on the device is going to be saved. And again, to turn that on, you just go to settings, go to backup and sync and set it like that. Now, one thing you'll see when you go down here, there are some options you have. Here, number one, you can see I have a 100 gigabyte plan. So I am paying that $20 a year. And I'm at 67% of that capacity right now. So if I hit 100%, Google is going to let me know that I have hit the ceiling and I'm going to have to cough up more money to get more storage space to continue to automatically store that. One other thing you'll see here is the upload size. Well, first of all, let me go here. If you decide that you want to be able to back up when you're out of range of a Wi-Fi connection, and this may count toward your data limits on your cellular plan. If you're using Verizon or AT&T, this may count toward whatever data limits you have on that. I just keep this off. I only worry about backing up when I'm near a Wi-Fi connection, typically at home on my Wi-Fi network. The other option you have here is to look at your upload size. And this is where people get a little confused. But if I click on here, I just press my thumb on upload size. I have this set at storage saver. You can also set it at original quality. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about what those two options mean. But suffice it to say that if you go for storage saver, you're going to get a lot more mileage out of your Google Photos account because you can store more. You sacrifice a little bit of quality on the photos so that they don't take up as much digital space, but you can store more. Okay. So let's talk about, well, before I go into that, are there any questions so far just about setting up the account? Feel free to unmute yourself to ask. No? Okay. All right. So let's talk about choosing that upload size. And this has changed recently. So I need to update this slide, but at one point, Google allowed you to use that storage saver completely for free. So you could store as many photos as you wanted, as long as you were storing them in storage saver size. They've done away with that. But let me get into more detail about what we're talking about. Google allows you to store at original quality, and that means it will save the picture as it was actually shot in the same resolution. For storage saver, it compresses that file so it takes up less space. And what that means, it's taking some megapixels out of there in order to save some storage space. Whoops, sorry about that. So what happens is all storage saver photos uploaded before June 1st, if you've been, so Regina, this may apply to you. If you've been using Google Photos for a while and you've been using that storage saver option, anything uploaded before June 1st does not count toward your storage limit. They essentially have grandfathered those in so that you up until that time were under the assumption you could store all of that for free. Google Photos has become so popular that they could no longer sustain that. But as compensation essentially for doing away with that, they only apply the limits now to any storage saver photos you upload moving forward. So before June 1st, if you were going for what was then an unlimited free option, you're okay. All of those photos can stay. You don't have to pay a penny more. But going forward, no matter what the size of the photos you're backing up, you're gonna get charged. So what that essentially means is that what we're talking about are megapixels. So, and I'll stop there before I get into that. Yes, Kathy, you had a question. Kathy, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay.
There we go.
I was, it's past, it's actually June 15th. So I supposed to find out that I would have this good deal before June 1st.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And if you've been a Google Photos user for a while, you would have gotten a notification about this ahead of time so that you would have known that that free option is going to go away.
Got you.
So, yeah. But yeah, they've done away with that now. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Scott.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I received, of course, I received the email or whatever, and I have been reading about it, but I had received something else talking about my storage, and that if I wanted more storage, I could go ahead and get it. So I did. So I think it's the $20 per year, but it's like $1.99 or $2.99 or something like that. And I signed up for it then, but it'd probably be cheaper if I just paid the $20 altogether instead of the.
Yeah, they charging you by the month, Regina?
Yeah, I think that's how it came up, and I just checked. Yeah, I didn't know. But then
Okay.
my son-in-law, he's an IT person. I was asking him, and he told me I could have just signed up just for the, well, I
year.
just took what they offered. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. They probably do give you some savings if you sign up
Mhm.
on an annual basis and just pay that $20. But
Yeah.
you know, the $20 is not a bad deal.
Right.
The other thing, just to give you an idea of how that compares to some other services, Amazon provides this
Oh,
too.
yeah. Mhm.
And the iCloud, if you're an iPhone user, you can have your iCloud storage set up to back up those photos as well. But they only offer you 5 gigabytes of free space before they start charging. So
Wow.
Google is actually relatively generous compared
Mm.
to the others.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to understand how that all works, we're talking about megapixels, and when we're talking about megapixels, you've probably, if you've ever shopped for a digital camera, or even if the quality of the cameras or the photographs that your smartphone can take, if you've ever really looked at that, they're going to tell you how many megapixels the cameras are capable of taking. And a pixel is a small square of data. The equivalent of what we used to think about in the newsprint or any kind of printing concept, these would be little dots of ink. These are what make up an image. And they usually talk about it in terms of megapixels. So 1 megapixel is 1 million pixels. So when we are talking about a 40 megapixel picture, and a lot of smartphones today are capable of taking pictures at, I mean, that's sort of the mid-range now, especially for a lot of Android phones. Some of them can take pictures at up to 100 megapixels, which is incredibly high resolution, really high quality. But say 40 megapixels, it will store, if you have the original quality set up on your Google Photos account, it will store it at that 48 million tiny squares of data. 48 megapixels. Some will go up to 100, as I said, but 48 is a mid-range. So if you're storing at original quality, let's say that I have a phone that takes pictures at 40 megapixels. Every time I turn on Google Photos and it starts to back things up, it will say, take this photo that I've taken on my smartphone, and it will upload it into the Google Cloud, Google Photos account at the exact same quality. That's original quality. If I use Storage Saver, what happens is it takes that 48 megapixel picture and it reduces it to 16 megapixels. So you're not going to have quite the number of little dots of data in there that you would if you go with original quality. So you're going to notice a little bit of difference if you really look closely. If you're only planning on having your photos there as backup and you want to look at them occasionally on your smartphone or your tablet or even on your computer, probably not going to make a difference. Where you are going to think about twice about how you're going to save that is if you ever want to take those pictures that you've stored and get them printed, because the quality of the print quality may not be as great. And just to give you an idea, here is an original quality photo. So if you took this picture and it got backed up into your Google Photos account at the original level, say this is 64 megapixels, it's going to look like that when you open it up on your Google Photos account. If you go with what they used to call high quality, essentially this is Storage Saver. And it's going to look like that. High quality they used before, that's kind of a misnomer because it's actually a slightly reduced quality. Now, if you're an iPhone user, iPhones still only take pictures at about 12 megapixels. So you really don't have to worry about exceeding. If you're going with that Storage Saver plan, you're never going to have to worry about exceeding that amount. So your photos won't get reduced. They're already below that original quality limit. If that makes sense. Yeah. So that is what you're going to be looking at in terms of options for the storage. So I'm going to stop there. I know that one a lot of times creates some confusion. So I'm going to see if there are some questions there I can answer.
You say when Google's charging now, you still get the 15 gigabytes? Or
You can still right now get 15 gigabytes for free. Yeah, that hasn't changed. The minute, excuse me, sorry about that. The minute you open your account, you're automatically granted that 15 gigabytes of free space. But say you're opening it for the first time and you have more than 15 gigabytes worth of photos. The minute Google sees that it's hit that ceiling, it will tell you you've got to pay more to get more storage space. Yeah. So yeah, the one thing I will assure you of, they will not charge you automatically. They'll let you know if you want to store more, you're going to have to pay. So what they'll basically do is stop backing up once you've hit that limit until you pay more. Other questions? Let me show you what that's all going to look like. And I'm going to do this on my browser on my desktop computer, just so it's a little more visible. But when you open it up, you'll see here, you've got all of your photos backed up. And once that's all set, you can also set things to upload photos from your computer. So I can go in here and I can also have it, I can download an automatic backup and sync for my PC or Mac as well, if I want. So the same thing that's happening on my phone, I can set up to happen on my computer too, which means if you have used a digital camera to take some pictures and you've downloaded those pictures to your PC or Mac, you can have it set to automatically back up those photos as well. So that is another option for you to make sure that you've got everything you want preserved. What's great about this is if you lose your phone or it's stolen or it breaks or your computer breaks, all of that would be backed up. And so those precious photos are not lost. The other benefit is that if you ever wanted to free up space on your device, say your smartphone, you've got so many photos, you're worried about it clogging up your phone, you can delete them and they will still stay here. So it's almost like putting things, removing things from your house to put in your storage garage that you're renting, if that makes sense.
So you're deleting from the cloud, but not from your device.
The other way around. You've been deleting from your device, but not the cloud. Yeah. And to just, if you would want to simply download an individual photo from your computer or upload it essentially to your account. Let's say I take this picture and I can just drag and drop it right in. And it will end up saving. I don't know if that went in. Try that again. That may not actually be downloaded to my computer. Let me try another one and I can show you how that works. All right. I'm going to take this picture and I am going to drag and drop it over, and you'll see it is uploading to my account. So I'll have it in there as well. And if I would like to get rid of any photo, I can just kind of go through here and I can take a photo like this which is actually a screen capture I took. And I can open it up and I can just hit delete. And it will go into my trash can. And it will not completely disappear. What happens is these are all the photos that I have recently put in the trash can. So you can think of this as sort of waiting for garbage day. What happens here is they're going to stay here for 60 days before they're completely wiped out of your account. You can go ahead and empty this yourself by hitting empty trash, and it will clear these completely from your account. As long as they're sitting here, they're still taking up space in your account. Until they are completely gone, they count toward your storage plan. So even if they are in the trash can, after 60 days, these would all disappear, and then it's no longer taking up that room. But if you say want to take a picture and permanently delete it, you can just go up here and hit delete and it will be gone. If you want to restore it, say you're worried about, or you change your mind that you accidentally deleted it or something like that, you've got 60 days to go in here and hit restore, and it will go back into your account.
Okay, I have a question. On that previous page where where it said sync or something, and then above it said computer or something like that. Now,
Right
why
here.
was that? Before you got to this, you know where the
On my smartphone?
well, you showed it on the screen, and it said something about syncing. You said it was sync, I guess, from onto all your devices, but above it, it had computer and something else.
Right here, right? Computer and Google Drive.
Wait, I can't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I
No.
not sharing my screen, or?
Where that little box is in the way where, oh no, I guess that's me with the chat.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It has Google Drive and computer. Now, with those, I mean, I know what they are, but would you click those to upload from Google Drive or from the computer?
Yeah, you could do it. I did that drag and drop, but if you prefer, you can just do it this way. And it would open up your computer files, and you can go into whatever photo files you might have, and just click on anything and click open, and it will upload into your account.
Oh, okay.
So that also, Regina, would apply if you've got anything stored on Google Drive, which is a separate cloud service. Say photos that you want to do that way. And if you want to set it up, you can back up. And I have chosen not to do that just because I'm trying to limit the amount of space I'm taking up in my account. If you want to automatically back up those photos that are sitting on your computer, not just your phone, but also on your computer, you can download this software that will do that for you as well. And that way, everything, whether you take it on a digital camera and download it to your computer, or whether you take it on your smartphone, that's all going to get backed up for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And as you can see here, I've been taking a lot of bug pictures.
I don't like them. I was,
Are you, Regina, where are you? Did you say you're in, whereabouts are
I'm
you?
in North Carolina and I haven't seen any. I think that's the answer to my prayer because I've seen them on the news and that's enough to see them on the news. Ooh.
They are awful. They are everywhere here in Maryland.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I heard.
yeah. And my dog is in love with them. She gobbles them up and they're not good for them. So yeah, it's been quite a month. Yeah. So that is the essential setup. And then from there, you can see whatever you've got in your trash can. And again, if you want to empty the trash, you can just click on that and it will all go.
Mhm.
And that is essentially how you get everything set up. And as I mentioned let me clear that. In the next part of this class, first of all, I'll just give you the key takeaways again. You get Google Photos will automatically, based on the settings you set up, will back up your photos sitting on your smartphone or tablet. And if you want, even on your PC or Mac. And you can view that library on any mobile device in which you have the app downloaded. And then you can drag and drop photos on your desktop computer into your Google Photos account as well, just individual photos, or just hit that upload and it will do that on an individual basis for you. So I want to tell you what to expect in the second part of this class. Both these classes we offer every week, and the times vary a little bit, but they're during the day. So if you want to find out more of what you can do with Google Photos, once you've got that storage all set up and you've got a photo library backed up there, we'll walk through how the app sorts and categorizes your photos automatically for you so that you don't have to do a whole lot of work. And I know that's one motivation people have for finding services. It's so easy to take a gazillion photos on an iPhone or an Android phone now because we always have them with us. So it's so spontaneous. But over time, we just accumulate so many. How do you organize all of those? Well, some of this will get done for you in ways you're probably not aware of. And I'm going to show you how that happens. And we'll also talk about sharing photos directly from the app very easily, and also creating and sharing albums that you can set up yourself. If you say have a family event and you want to set up a photo album from that event and share it with people who were there, it enables that to happen really easily. So I'll walk through all of that in Google Photos Part 2. Before I go any further, I just want to stop and see if there are any other questions I can answer on all of this. Oh, okay. So just to give you a heads up on some related classes coming up, some of these are Google related in terms of Google services and apps. We have a Google Duo class tomorrow, and that is a free video calling app, sort of like FaceTime, I guess. We also have a Google Calendar class. This is an intermediate level that tells you all the different things you can do with a Google Calendar. And then we also have a class on smart homes, on how to get started with having your, I don't know what all that entails, but you probably have seen homes where the thermostat is automatically set to read when it needs to come on, refrigerators, the whole bit. So I don't know what all that covers, but might be interesting to check that out. I do teach quite a few photography classes here on Get Set Up. So my next classes, I have one coming up on touching up portraits and selfies using software that you can get online for free or at a very low cost. So if you have a photo of somebody and maybe they want to touch up some blemishes or something like that, I'll show you how you can do that really easily. And then late today, there is a class on getting lens kits for your smartphone that attach right to the lens on your camera on your smartphone, that will do different things like zoom, telephoto, and blowing small things up really large and things like that. So those lens kits are pretty inexpensive, and I'll talk to you about where you can buy those and how to use them. I also want to tell you about a big event we have coming up later this week. This is on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We have a guest speaker, Pete Souza. He was the official White House photographer for both President Obama and for President Reagan. So he did 2 stints in the White House. And he's had 2 books come out just about his years with the Obama White House. Some of his photos are incredible. And he'll be here Thursday. He'll share some of the most iconic photos that he's taken over his 2 stints at the White House. And I think he was there for 2 terms during, at least for the Obama administration and maybe for the Reagan administration. So we're talking as many as 16 years worth of White House photos. And he'll talk about the stories behind a lot of those pictures. And there'll be a Q&A portion of the talk. We also will have a VIP after event. If you'd like to attend that, just send any questions you have for Pete to Liz. Liz is on our marketing team. That's her. This is her email address. Just send those to her and we'll make sure to have those set up so you can attend the VIP event afterward. So I hope you can join us for that. It should be a great evening. And when you do book a class, you can invite a friend to join you. We've set that up real easily for you. So you can just click here where it tells you to, and you will have an automatic message that you can share with a friend via Facebook or WhatsApp or via email. Just say, hey, I'm taking this class. Why don't you join me? So I encourage you to opt for that. I'll be sending you some class notes with some links for additional resources for you right after we close today. And if you'd like, you can also recommend this class to your friends, either on Facebook or to individuals via email. I'll have some additional classes that you might be interested in that I'll have links for you to book if you'd like. We'll also have a link to the entire schedule of Get Set Up classes, and we have a link to our feedback form. And we always appreciate any feedback you can give us about what you liked about the class, what you didn't like about the class, what you think might make it better. And we have a 5-star rating system as well, so you can rate the class. We also have a space here for you to suggest any classes that you would like to see us offer. Anything you'd like to learn and you're not seeing us offer any instruction on it on our class schedule, just let us know. We develop our class content based on the feedback we get from you on what you would like to learn. So please keep those suggestions coming. And if you would like to host an interest group on Get Set Up, we have many, many interest groups, just people getting together to talk about a shared interest in things like gardening, pets, movies, you name it. We can do all the heavy lifting for you. You just have to show up as the host, get the conversation rolling. It's great fun. It's a great way to make some friends all across the world. So please let us know if you'd like to do that. You can also go to our homepage at getsetup.io, and there is a link up at the very top of the page where you can submit a proposal for an interest group through our website. So either way, let us know if you'd like to do that. We'd love to help you out with that. If you'd like to suggest a new class, you can also email us with that suggestion, not just do it on the feedback form. We do a lot of partnerships with a variety of organizations and government and community groups, including senior living communities. So what we do with those is we end up delivering classes for free to specific groups, and we partner with you on marketing those and everything else. So if you would like to get with us on that, you can email us to get that ball rolling. And finally, again, if you would like to get a recording of this session, please just drop an email to us at that same address, help@getsetup.io, and we'll get that to you. So really appreciate your time today, and hope it was helpful to you. And I hope to see you in another class real soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Take care, everybody.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.